Mastery of a subject or skill, according to Malcolm Gladwell, takes 10,000 hours of practice. Well, that's right. I mean, mastery does not bloom on its own. But what we have learned at historic New College is that mastery also requires taking risk. A person who seeks to master something must be willing to try and fail, and try again and fail again. Because studying failure is what teaches one how to achieve understanding and success. As we grow in knowledge and skill, we view ourselves differently, and we are changed by others who are in turn moved and excited by our progress. This progress is not just adding one thing on top of another. It is transformative. It turns us into different people. That's why at New College, we approach the college experience differently than most other institutions of higher education. As was stated earlier, we sought to found an education system that allows the student to explore and to fail and to re-explore without damaging their academic record, an outcome that would discourage any kind of risk-taking. First, the college attracted students who were intellectually motivated. They were not here for just a 4-year ride between high school and work. What set New College apart from other colleges was our contract system. Each semester required a new contract that step-by-step led to mastery, intellectual, academic, and personal mastery before graduation. In each contract, students set short and long-term goals. The contract laid out the academic undertakings in courses, tutorials, and special projects, leading to a year-long senior thesis. The contract included co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and it established certification criteria, mutually agreed terms by which a contract could be judged as satisfactory. This last part, the certification criteria, was at the heart of the New College philosophy, and that made it an extraordinary environment for learning. The student could elect to take 3 courses in a semester or as many as 6 or 7. Some of them might have been what we call stretch courses, courses that might intrigue the student but be beyond her capability, which at a normal school would lead to a poor grade threatening the student's grade point average. But instead of grades, New College professors provided narrative evaluations that indicated where the student succeeded and where they fell short. If the student did not begin to master the material in a course, that would not count towards graduation. The course could be taken over and dropped completely. But an unsatisfactory evaluation would not hurt the student's academic record. So, a first-year student arrived and was faced with her first contract. It started with a statement of goals, but many first-year students arrive with no idea what their long-term goals are, at least none that they are willing to admit publicly. After all, to state a goal is to risk failure to achieve it. Yet the contract required it. That led the new student to begin an inner search to be able to articulate interests and ambitions. Plus, it required the faculty advisor to understand the student's motivation. The advisor could determine how realistic the goals were and find a way for the student to begin to explore a possible path toward them or find an alternative path to new goals. That kind of advising required New College faculty to always treat their students as individuals pursuing their unique path to mastery. The faculty had to focus on the students and provide extensive evaluations throughout their college career. They had to be adept in evaluating student work in depth and be prepared to counsel students every step of the way. That certainly made for a demanding academic career, but for those who embraced it, the work was rewarding as they watched students step toward mastery and the life it can provide. When I think of students dedicated to the pursuit of mastery, one particular student comes to mind. He arrived with virtually no formal music training. Yet in his first contract, he declared that his long-term goal was to be, quote, to become a great composer. A great composer. Not just a musician. I mean, how was I to respond to that? Instead of questioning whether his goal was realistic, I encouraged him to take Music Theory 1 and to let his performance inform both of us as to how realistic his goal was. He initially struggled in the course, experiencing some measure of failure. But through his diligence and determination, he earned a satisfactory evaluation. That prepared him for Music Theory 2. When we sat down to discuss his second contract, the student had changed his goal. He no longer was aiming to be a great composer. No, now his goal was to become a very great composer. This is the truth, total truth. How does one become a great composer? I mean, how does one become a great anything? Motivation is important, of course, but more decisive are a demonstrated mastery of compositional technique and a deep understanding of music history. It's like the student having a grand conversation among living composers and those of the past. To understand how to contribute to the conversation, one must understand and master all that has come before you. Music courses provide a context and the opportunity to develop skill through projects, essays, analyses, and in the case of a composer, the opportunity to understand historical idioms from the inside out. For example, in my classical and early romantic music course, I encouraged student composers to create music of their own that demonstrated their grasp of harmony and form in the styles of Haydn, Mozart, or Beethoven. Such projects were understood as steps on the way to mastery, not mastery itself. To achieve mastery, the student needed to explore his or her own compositional voice. The most ambitious and advanced student composers at New College composed music for chamber ensembles of the Sarasota Orchestra. Students were paired professionals who helped them throughout the academic year to develop sketches into drafts and turn drafts into complete compositions, leading to a public performance at the end of the academic year. That eager student who came to me in his first year with the ambition to become a very great composer eventually graduated with a double major in music and mathematics. His senior thesis was an orchestral work based on the four-color theorem, the cornerstone of map theory. Talk about innovative. This project was so extraordinary that it led him to be admitted to one of the top composition programs in the country on a full ride. He went on to earn his PhD, secure teaching appointments at several outstanding colleges, and win numerous awards for his compositions. He has indeed become an outstanding composer, and if he keeps it up, who knows? He may well become a very great composer. How many first-year students do you know who arrive at college with big dreams and actually accomplish them? While I have to admit that this student's story is unique, what he accomplished is the goal we hope for all new college students. His story is instructive for several reasons. First, his initial decision to focus on music composition, though exceedingly ambitious, was confirmed again and again through experience. Second, this student took advantage of every opportunity to learn, to fail, to learn by failing, and to gradually find his way. In short, he took responsibility for his education and for his life. I'm proud to have been his partner in learning, offering advice, suggestions, and critique along the way. In closing, my writing partner for this presentation, Juliana Paré-Bagloyev, and I would like to share some personal reflections. When Juliana visited the New College campus in 2023, she went to the library and looked up her senior thesis, which she wrote in 1993. She wondered, were there any hints of mastery in this 30-year-old document? She not only saw evidence of dogged commitment, but she also registered the masterful contributions of her sponsor, Dr. David Brain. As she credited him in her acknowledgments, Dr. Brain had introduced Juliana to mental models, which she used in her analysis of the Sarasota County School Board's Public School Choice Task Force deliberations. As Juliana explains, a mental model is in an experimental study is simple to understand. It's a hypothesis that if you wiggle lever A in conditions B, the outcome will move towards solution C. Did you get that? A mental model in the social sciences is a way to represent how many different factors contribute to complex human situations. By selecting a model, we commit ourselves to explicitly naming how key factors relate to each other. It is a way of putting our chips on the table to see, as best we can, whether that mental model has explanatory value or if the facts don't fit the model. Currently, Juliana is a faculty member at Johns Hopkins University, where she teaches in an applied doctoral program. She writes, quote, "What allows me the great joy of teaching highly diverse students is the mastery I have continued to gain in helping others to hone their mental models, the mental models that they use to understand complex social problems. I recognize how the skills I used in my doctoral students reflect the advising mastery that David Brain exhibited and from which I benefited as a New College student. Mastery is not only about content. There are also important masteries of perspective, technical capacity, dispositions, among others. I use what I learned through the process of writing my thesis at New College every single day. Specifically, every day I question my own mental models and support my students to articulate the mental models that they have, as well as the models that are implicit in the research they read and in the society around us," unquote. Well, while I, Steve, have focused in this talk on the quest for mastery by a specific New College music student, I should also address the importance of mastery in my own musical and intellectual development. I entered a highly ranked conservatory in 1972, a time when the academic study of composition throughout the United States was rather narrow and doctrinaire. As entering composition students, we were told explicitly that we could only earn an A if our music could be dated as post-1954. This is the truth. That meant the harmonic vocabulary should be atonal and the approach to form should be non-traditional. At first, I flourished in this environment. Without working too hard, I regularly made the dean's list, I received awards for my compositions, and an early string quartet was praised by a local music critic. Despite this apparent success, I sensed that something was wrong. And when I took Renaissance counterpoint, I realized that my technical foundations were quite weak. Sure, I was adept in the use of contemporary compositional techniques, but I couldn't have composed a sonata in the style of Mozart or Beethoven if I had tried. I was like an abstract expressionist who couldn't draw a nude with precision. I actually learned this lesson by studying the work of one of the great abstract expressionists, Willem de Kooning. Studying his early drawings, it was clear that he possessed a complete understanding of human anatomy and flawless draftsmanship. And that technical command contributed to the power of his later abstract paintings of women. When I discussed my technical shortcomings with my professors, they didn't think that I had any problems. In response, I left the conservatory and spent the next 5 years working my way systematically through Western compositional techniques, composing music in historical styles, until I realized that it was time to compose in my own voice. Only then did I return to the conservatory to complete my degree. While my decision to pursue independent study was risky, and it certainly created great anxiety for my parents, those years of solitary labor decisively shaped my identity as a composer and later as a teacher at New College. All of my students, like all New College students, regardless of discipline, learned that there are no shortcuts to mastery, but the rewards of mastery are rich beyond measure. Thank you.